Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We're here to talk about the most bizarre thing, Hayden, you and I have seen, I think, this year. And that is
For
Red
sure.
One.
Mm-hmm.
It is so bad that I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. For sure. It's
And
not a
yeah,
good movie, but it is a damn good time.
it is absolutely absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much from the opening scene until the closing credits.
It's almost surreal. Like, I can't believe
Yeah.
this is like a real movie that exists, especially when it feels so corporate as well. Like,
It
I think
does.
it's half Netflix Christmas movie, half it feels like a Marvel movie, but without any of the Marvel characters. Like it just has a middle of the road MCU tone and humor and giant random CGI shit for you to fight.
Yeah, so my take when I'm sitting in the theater watching this thing, and at 2 hours, 5 minutes, this was a little longer than I thought it would be.
Same.
But I mean, I don't know if that works or not, but it is. So
Yeah.
I'm sitting here watching, like, Chris Evans is in this movie, and he kind of
Mm-hmm.
knows what he's in. He's sort of having
Mm-hmm.
fun with it, not taking it overly seriously. Lucy
It's a
Liu,
little
kind of
hammy.
same thing.
Mm-hmm.
J.K. Simmons for sure.
Yeah.
The only one taking this super seriously the entire time, thinking that he is in some dramatic, like, thing, is Dwayne The Rock.
He's locked in. He's
He is.
locked in the entire movie.
This is I think he got confused and thought he was in Gladiator 2, Hayden. I really do. This is very serious to him. And let's talk about that for a second as part of
Okay.
our spoiler-free part of this.
Our prelude,
So
our
there
context.
is a really interesting story about how this movie ended up in theaters versus just on Amazon Prime, which this movie through and through feels like it should be like a Netflix, Amazon Prime movie.
Mm-hmm.
The
I think it
budget,
will have success as that, by
I
the
do
way.
too.
I
It'll have
do.
a ton of success. The movie with $250 million budget, that's going to put it in theaters, first of all.
Yeah.
And two, here's the story. And I swear, I'm telling you the truth. This is real, all of it. I'm not making any of this up. Dwayne, last summer, while they were
Mm-hmm.
filming Red One, went to Christopher Nolan's private theater to see Oppenheimer, and he wanted, as fellow auteurs, wanted
Mm-hmm.
to sit in the same seat Nolan sits in to watch these on IMAX screen,
Mm-hmm.
to just suck in from one brilliant filmmaker to another.
Mm-hmm. Wanted to learn from his contemporaries, right? His colleagues, peers.
And he's watching Oppenheimer in IMAX, and he's saying to himself, and I shit you not, because this came out of his mouth. He's sitting there thinking, if we put Red One in IMAX, it's going to change the game in cinema. And I'm pretty sure, Hayden, that he used the word cinema, which in itself is stupid. Because,
Oh
like,
my god.
some movies are movies and some movies are films.
This is a fucking movie, dude.
This is a movie bordering on TV special. So that's how it ended up in theaters, because Dwayne thought that he had the next, not just Christmas classic, but I think in his mind, he thought they were going to be on stage at the Oscars in 2025.
Oh my god.
And that
Like
is
we can
hilarious.
He's like, we can reinvent Christmas movies. Like a Christmas movie doesn't have to be a Hallmark thing where you just are, going in an inn, falling in love, right? Like he's like, a Christmas movie could be an action blockbuster at the level of a Marvel movie.
That's really what they're going for. They're going for
It
Christmas
is.
Marvel.
It's Christmas Marvel. It's Christmas international spy thriller, and it's funny as fuck to me because it's like I've become acutely aware of. There are some times in movies where it's like the only reason this is set here, this scene is here, is because the stars who made this or whoever pitched this was like, we can get the studio to pay for us to go on vacation.
Oh, like to Hawaii?
Yes. Yeah, they go to Aruba in this movie.
Yeah.
And they're there for like 10, 15 minutes, and they don't really accomplish a fucking thing.
Except fight a bunch of snowmen.
CGI snowmen, right? And it has, oh my god, it kind of has that vibe of it's just like this always bothers me in movies, especially like I feel like the international globe-trotting spy thriller works less and less as time goes on. Because back in the day, like you watch like a good movie from like the 70s, 80s, right? Like some Robert Redford shit or whatever. Like, yeah, it makes sense. Like we gotta go to this place to see this guy. It's like this should have been a phone call. Granted, like an encrypted phone call, but you couldn't have
Could
like
have been an
zoomed.
email.
You couldn't have zoomed Nick Kroll from the dark web.
I know.
You had to pull up to Aruba.
I know. Um, yeah, and on that note, spy thrillers I think work best now when they're done like when they're very grounded, like
Mm-hmm.
Bourne,
Mm-hmm.
or super over the top, like old school Bond. And this one was neither because it was like super over the top, but thought it was grounded and thought it was like serious. And
Yeah, it's
so
it's really at odds with itself because there are
it
moments
is.
where it's like trying to be some like very weird, almost like Disney Star Wars in tone. Like there are some glup shittos here. Like there are some characters that are very clearly like you made this because you think this is your baby Yoda. Like you think you're gonna put
Oh
this on
yeah.
shelves, and every kid is gonna be like, "Mom, I want the troll from Red One for Christmas." Like, and that just is not happening, and it's just so weird because it's like there's these little CGI creatures at the North Pole, and it just like doesn't make sense why they're there.
And by the
And
way, the North Pole, Hayden, is Wakanda
it is. It's in a
with snow.
bubble, and they made it like
Yeah.
tactical. Also,
Yeah. There's like a
like
military and all this stuff. It's
yeah,
insane.
he's like, we're not elves. We're the ELF, and
The
I'm just like,
ELF.
oh my god. And obviously, like it's hammy and it's self aware, but it's like they treat the North Pole like it's this like high tech, like super secret branch of like the CIA.
Yeah.
And there's weird fucking military propaganda in it too.
There is. Well, first of all, the North Pole, Hayden, every representation of the North Pole that I've pretty much ever seen has it being very small scale. It's like, a few buildings with the elves hard at work and all these things building the toys, right?
Mhm.
And here it's a fucking metropolis. It is like full on, has suburbs and shit, and all of this is going on. Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. You know what it looks like, Tyler? It looks like the concept art they showed at that one Epic Games conference where like this is what the Disney experience in Fortnite is gonna look like.
Oh
And it's gonna
yeah.
be this massive place where you can shop and you can game and you can build
There's
community in the metaverse. Like it
there's
looks
a
like metaverse. It looks like the metaverse, bro.
It really does. There's a scene early in the movie where Santa gets abducted, and that's not a spoiler because it's the
It's
premise
the
of the
premise
movie.
of the movie.
Um, and the chase that's going on, I remember it reminded me of the chase in episode 2 through Coruscant.
I thought the exact same thing, and it's just like I'm just sorry I'm shout laughing headphone users, but it's just like there's so many weird moments where it does that thing where like he like The Rock himself is constantly in this movie switching in and out of like actually being The Rock and being
Mhm.
like a PS4 Pro level graphics
Yeah,
CGI model of The Rock.
he is. Like he has embraced the character of the final boss. Um,
So hard that he became one,
he
dude.
became one. He's like method acting here, like as
And
himself, which is only he would want to do.
But
Um,
real talk, this movie does have such video game energy.
oh, it does. And I want to be clear, like as dumb as this thing is, it is fun.
It is.
And there are moments, there are like tongue in cheek things that are very intentional that I think are really fun. Like the idea that J.K. Simmons is like a buff, swole Santa here, like, and is like,
Hilarious. Sigma
yeah,
Santa, it's great.
he's like Alpha Santa, or whatever. And he's like bench pressing shit and the Rock spotting him because, of course, he is. And all this, because all that stuff is funny and it's cool.
hmm
And, Krampus is like, this evil badass, but turns out with a heart and all these things.
Yeah, and it like they actually do things with like the Christmas mythos, I guess you would
Yeah.
say, right? That's actually kind of interesting. Like
Yes.
like the because Callum Drift, our main character, The Rock. He is like Santa's bodyguard, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he's starting to kind of doubt
He's lost the
that
spirit of Christmas.
he's lost the spirit of Christmas. And he's like, no one with these doubts should be this close to you. So he's like, it's classic cop movie where he is like, I'm going to retire. Let's do one last ride. To the point of where at one point in the movie, he literally is like, I can't believe this. I was supposed to retire tomorrow. And
I know.
like,
He's one day away from retirement.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like this movie is a little self-aware, but I feel like The Rock is not self-aware at all. And he has been the biggest, loudest champion of this movie. And so it's like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to take it in earnest or not.
That's the thing. I don't know what to think. I mean, it is dumb. It's
for sure
in an endearing way, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what else to say without spoilers. Hayden, should we just put a score on this thing and then talk about it? Like,
I think we have to. And look, my takeaway is like, this is dumb fun. This movie is really fun in like the Mystery Science Theater 3000 way. I would say like, this is not what you need to rush out to the theaters and see. And I think the theatrical experience actually kind of stifles it a bit. Like, this is the perfect movie. Like, when you're home around the holidays, if this, hopefully, knock on wood, comes to like premium video on demand or streaming, like, get your high school or college friends together, get your family together, like, get some nog, get some Hallmark wine, because that's a real thing, and it's not as bad as it should be.
okay.
And just watch this thing and let it rip. It's a ball. It really is.
This is also the type of Christmas movie you can have on in the background doing any family stuff.
For sure.
And it'll be perfectly fine. Because trust me, if you miss 5 minutes of it, you're not going to be lost. It's going to be fine.
You can totally pop in and out of it. And honestly, like, I think there are moments of this movie where there are pacing issues. Where it's, I'll get to the specifics again, the spoilers, but there's 2 moments that I'm like, we've been here for too long, and it feels like you are taking advantage of the budget here.
A budget that was way too big. It's so much bigger than it needed to be. Anyway, our score for this thing. Hayden, we've seen like 30 movies this year, probably, to do reviews on.
Dude, I've got my AMC thing. Well, I don't want to show this actually. I don't know how much personal info is on here.
I've seen like 4.
I got a voucher. This was my 31st visit to AMC this year.
So
crazy.
I was pretty close, right? And I think I've seen close to 40 total myself. This is in the bottom like 4 of those. For me.
Okay.
And we gave this thing a 4.5. Like, from an objective movie critique standpoint, this is bad all over. But it's also fun all over. Like, it's just stupid fun.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and Dwayne didn't mean this, but you're gonna laugh at Dwayne, not with him, but you're still laughing, and that's okay.
For sure. It's still entertainment value, right? One real quick note I want your opinion on, Tyler. I feel like, is this a kids movie? And are kids gonna like it? Because it feels like it's a lot more, not raunchier, but it's got cruder humor and language than I would have expected.
It's geared more towards adults, I think. And
I think so.
And Dwayne even swears at one point during it.
There's a lot of like mid-tier. There's a lot of mid-tier bad words in this. Like, there's a lot of shit flying around. That's their favorite one.
So, but it does have like the heartwarming subplot of Chris Evans' kid and, reconnecting and all of that.
Yeah.
Which I feel is pretty, consistent with a lot of movies that are geared towards kids.
Oh yeah, there's very thematic, family-friendly, typical stuff of like, there's the tropes of like the family that's trying to reconnect, and The Rock's character is losing the spirit of Christmas, but he wants to find it, and then, it's very, I don't know, it's very paint by numbers, but I think those things are tropes for reasons, right? They're effective.
Yeah, they definitely are. What do you think are the odds that Dwayne insisted the script include him saying the words "Let's save Christmas"?
Dude, almost 100%.
Because I feel like
Almost
he was.
100%.
I just feel like this whole thing started where one day he's sitting at home and he's like, you know what? How can I not have saved Christmas yet?
It's like I've done everything else, but I haven't saved Christmas.
Yeah, and the only way it would truly be believable is if I did it. So here we are. The final boss, saving Christmas, and it's exactly what, when I say it just that way, it's exactly what you think it would be. Except for Dwayne, who thought it should be on IMAX and would change the game.
Real talk though, before we move into
Yeah.
spoilers, cast in this is crazy. It's stacked, and they're
It
having
is.
fun. Like
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons is great. Chris Evans, I would say, is pretty good. The Rock is like he's doing the most Rock I think he's ever done. Which
He plays the Rock in every movie except for like 2.
except
but
for
he's
the one where he
really
played the Tooth Fairy.
yeah, he's really leaning in here though.
Yeah, big time. And there's even like if you're like a real like if you are in your bag and you know like B tier and even lower like Hollywood stars, like there's some really fun surprise appearances, or not surprise appearances, but just appearances that I was surprised to see. Like Chris Evans' character, his ex is like the waitress from It's Always Sunny, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main villain is this like Christmas witch. And I don't know if you recognized her, Tyler, but she had a very, very small appearance in Longlegs.
Oh, really?
She's the one when they, the scene where they like go to the asylum and interview the woman who like survived.
Oh, okay.
The really creepy girl with the super short hair.
Yeah.
That's her.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
well, she's had
Sophia noticed that immediately, and I was like, the range on this woman is insane.
Yeah, she's had quite a year. So, J.K. Simmons, I thought was great in this, and the reason I think, and like, because I had the same takeaway you did. Mm-hmm. Chris Evans, Lucy Liu, and J.K. Simmons are all just really hamming it up here and having a good time, and that
they're playing, right?
Yeah, it does add to the fun of the movie. But I think part of that, and I know it's going to sound like we're really hammering on Dwayne here, and especially me, and part of that's true, but I think it's because they have all been in really good things before and they know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And Dwayne, not so much.
Right.
Dwayne's been on a bit of a losing streak at the theater. He hasn't had a hit in a minute.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't know if it's going to get there. At $250 million for a budget, that's rough. And you've got Wicked coming out this week.
Yeah, it's over.
And
because
and Gladiator 2. So that's
yeah. Because the kids who would have potentially dragged their parents to see this movie are not going to give a shit once Wicked is out.
Although I feel like, and I could be totally off on this, but I think families with girls are going to want to go see Wicked. I think any families that have boys mostly or totally, it might be more red.
Yeah, because it is more of like an action, or it appeals to like things that young boys think are cool, right?
Yeah,
it's got big
and young boys generally aren't too into musicals,
True.
So, but Wicked, I think, is going to become how good it is. We'll see, but I think that doesn't matter. I think it's going to be an absolute smash hit at the box office. So,
yep.
Anyway, this movie, we've got Chris Evans' character, Jack, right? Who,
yes,
is a globally renowned hacker.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow discovers the location of the North Pole, allowing this like military group to go in and kidnap Santa. It's all part of a plot to enforce the naughty list.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. Like, that sounds really stupid when I say it this way, but like, that's what it is.
It's not even just like enforcement. It's almost like a genocide of naughty listeners. Yeah. They're like expanding what makes you count as someone who's naughty, and they're going after them. And there's even a moment where The Rock's like, that's almost everybody, right? And they make a point in this movie. They're like, there's more people on the naughty list now than ever. And this is the first Christmas ever where more people are on the naughty list than the nice list. And like the things that they show of people being naughty and mean and like, oh, people aren't getting the holiday spirit, they're being selfish, is like a packed mall on December 23rd where people are like fighting over PS5s and like Karens are screaming at the customer service rep, like, what do you mean you're out of essential oils?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, this is like such like a Gen X or even like boomers perception of like how like they took the Christ out of Christmas, right? Like no one cares about the Christmas spirit anymore. No one, it's all about buying and whatever. And I just like, I don't know if like that mall rush really happens anymore. I'm sure in some places it does, but
not in the last probably eight years.
Right.
Because all the places that used to have huge Black Friday sales, like in person, they still do, but everything's available online now.
Yeah.
So you're able to go do that. I have seen in my life, and I've seen a kind of fight over a blue Nintendo Wii on Black Friday. And it was crazy. Fantastic. So I've seen it, but and it's funny. So like those moments made me laugh a little bit, but it's I'm with you. I don't think those things necessarily happen. I think the like Karen at the service desk, that's more of a daily thing. It's not a Christmas thing. Right. So anyway, yeah, but Jack is contributing to his own demise because he's a level 4 naughty lister. And do we ever learn what level 4 like means or how we got there?
I assumed it was like DEFCON rules.
Yeah, but
so we'll go up to 5 and 4 is like the second worst. Because there's obviously got to be like, I don't know, like I think if you're like a fascist or like a killer, like I'd imagine you go a little higher up. But they show that he's an asshole in like the funniest, most tropey way ever. Like he wakes up in his own apartment on Christmas Eve in his bathtub, fully clothed, with an empty bottle of bourbon next to him. And I'm just like, what? Like, and he literally steals candy from a baby at some point. That's a great thing,
in the opening thing.
I love that.
Yeah. So, and like starts a fire during a like yoga session.
Yeah, right, because he's trying to get
somebody's pass.
Like
pass card to get into the building.
Right. Breaking and entering.
Yeah, it's there's not a lot of subtlety.
No.
To character development in this film. And Jack is somebody who is essentially the Grinch at the beginning, and he follows the story of the Grinch. His heart grows 3 sizes that day by the end. And he reconnects with his son after they're both in tiny snow globes for a minute. And The Rock kind of saves the day. Sorry, Dwayne, you totally saved the day.
They all I think they all saved the day. They, because they even have at the end, there's like Chris Evans is like, did we just save Christmas? Like with that line delivery, and The Rock's like, I think we saved Christmas. Just like, oh my god. That's how the movie, that's the last line of the movie, dude. And just for the record, like, this is a PG-13 movie, so they get one use of the F-bomb, and it should have been right there.
Yes.
This movie should have ended with The Rock being like, fuck yeah, we saved Christmas. That would have been awesome.
And Dwayne, I mean, you remember Hayden, the lead up to, like, he was dropping F-bombs and everything on
at WrestleMania? Television. Oh, yeah. He's a naughty lister, man.
Yeah, he is. So, he's not averse to those words.
No.
But story-wise, so we talked around it a little bit, but like they go on this globe-trotting adventure. They fight snowmen on the sands of Aruba and travel to Germany to meet Krampus and then get in a face-slapping contest and all of that.
Which The Rock can't even lose a face. He can't even lose to Krampus, man.
No. So
Incredible.
yeah, and then they end up back at the North Pole because they figure out that Santa never left the North Pole. He's been held captive there the whole time.
Right? Massive twist. Yeah, it really is. It's one of those movies where the plot is just like a series of coincidences and MacGuffins that connect a laundry list of moments, which is fine.
You know what this movie is, Hayden? This movie is the Christmas version of Star Wars Episode 9.
Oh.
It is. It's a movie that it moves pretty quick, and it's all designed to keep, one action scene after another and doesn't slow down very often. Keep you engaged so you don't realize that you're watching absolute ass unfold in front of you.
Oh my god. Would you watch The Rise of Skywalker or this? Like band for band.
This.
Damn. Okay. Fair enough.
I do not like, and here's the thing: I'm not a Star Wars hater. I'm not one of those people, that freaks out about it and whatnot.
Red One is just a silly, stupid one-off movie. It doesn't have it can't disappoint your legacy. Or
I thought Episode 9 was just a really bad movie.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
This is bad, but we weren't expecting much more than that.
No.
Episode 9 had a lot to live up to, and it failed in every way.
Fair enough.
So,
yeah, I think I did honestly enjoy it. I don't think it was necessarily quality better than I thought it was, but I definitely enjoyed Red One more than I was expecting to.
Totally.
I had a lot more fun than I thought I would. What did we give this thing for story?
So we gave it a 3.5.
Out of 10?
Out of 10. It's rough. Like the story, just know you're not gonna be challenged to think hard here or anything like that. It's just cast performances, we've hit on a bunch of them already, so we'll just gloss over it here. But Lucy Liu we haven't talked about much. I actually like her in this. I think she plays the straight-faced, essentially CIA director type person, pretty well. And the seriousness with which she tries to play it adds some humor to it all.
It is pretty good, especially because she kind of she almost works this SCP type division, right? Where it's she knows about all of these monsters and whatever, and it's actually really cool. When you see them,
yeah, it's very Men in Black.
It is,
and I think that was even said in the movie, right? It wasn't Men in Black brought up or something.
I think so, yeah, because they've got the Headless Horseman walking around, and she's like, "Oh, we're bringing in all the usual suspects."
Yeah, the Headless Horseman part was cool because that was out of freaking nowhere. And
that was great. That was fun.
So, we gave cast performances 5.5. It's hammy. It is. No one here is winning Best Actor, not even Dwayne. I'm sorry. Even on IMAX. Look, sound, and feel. We gave 6.5.
Yeah. It does have some fun set pieces. It's got some fun set pieces. There's some decent action. And there's a couple moments where I think some of the character designs are actually really cool. Krampus especially. They do some really good prosthetic
on screen. If you're obviously you're watching this movie or watching this video, but on screen, right as Hayden was saying, that was the snowmobile chase through the North Pole, which is absurd, but also there's underground tunnels that they're popping out of, and there's huge jumps and everything.
There's Michael Bay. There's a couple Michael Bay level action set pieces in this movie.
Yeah,
where they go really big, and
I think the color palette in this is cool. They do a good job with that. The special effects, Hayden, are bad.
They are, but I like some of the designs. I love the way the North Pole looks. That it's become this big, massive thing and is expanded as Christmas has become more expensive. There's just more people in the world now.
Yeah.
But they still have this little monument of like Santa's like original cabin.
Yeah, the OG.
And it's
yeah.
really cute. And it's one of those nice things too where it's nondescript enough that you can really apply it to whatever is your preferred Santa, whatever you think of Santa on screen from your childhood, right? Whether that's Elf or the old Rudolph specials or whatever.
It's just when I saw it, the hardest thing for me is when I saw it unfold, I was like, somebody just watched Black Panther and like was like, that's how we should do it. And
right, because it's just in this like dome, this like
that's invisible. Like you can't
right,
see
right.
from the outside.
Right.
Once you get inside, you realize it's this whole metropolis. So anyway, 6.5 look, feel, and sound. It has redeeming things. Intangibles. Here's
explain
where
what intangibles means real quick for people who maybe new to us.
Just like all the other stuff, the like all that other shit aside, all the critique stuff. Like, is this the type of thing you want to sit down with friends and be like, you have to see this thing?
It's just vibe and fun factor, right? It's the enjoyment you get out of it that you can't pull from critically objectively. Like, this is just how this makes me feel. This is my enjoyment with it.
And we gave this 9 out of 10. Like, it is like, it is so stupid that it's good. And it's not good. It's so stupid that it's fun.
It's a great time. Like, I think I love watching like So Bad They're Good Christmas movies, right? Like tradition in my family, my mom and I, we rotate in groups of 3. One that's new to both of us, a classic, and then just some garbage. And like, I feel like this fills an interesting role where it has like the so bad it's good can't be fun, but it also is like a really expensive looking movie. Like it's a big budget blockbuster. And I think honestly, unfortunately, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but like I think for that, like Red One is kind of an instant classic. Like I think this is one I'm going to rewatch almost annually because it's just such a dumb, fun, good time.
It's a classic in the way that Dwayne did not intend. I feel like they went in with the intentions of like, we're going to unseat Die Hard as the best Christmas action movie of all time.
Yeah.
And we've come far short of that. But this movie is a great time to sit down and watch. And Hayden, I love your point there on like, watching the ones that are just like cringy bad, right? That are a mess. Because so many of those are of the like Hallmark variety.
Yeah.
And this one's really different. And it has like fun action in it. And it's like, what if the North Pole was completely militarized and Santa still got kidnapped and they had to go rescue him? And the clock's ticking because you only have so long until the presents have to be delivered.
Until it's Christmas Eve, right? And it's funny too because like he apparently has like some relationship with like senior officials in the U.S. military.
All governments, yeah, like
because and that's the funniest thing to me is there's this scene where like because the movie cold opens basically with like Santa in fucking what is it Philadelphia at the mall, and then he flies back to the North Pole, but they have a fighter jet escort.
Yes,
and it's playing like the classic like drum roll, and this general comes out that's got the most decorated uniform you've ever seen in your life, and is like, "Say, Nick, another good trip." And it's just like, what are we doing? Like this is so weird.
It really is. But still, like, and also like Jack, Chris Evans' character, plays a total non-believer, and we get him in his childhood, like just completely trying to, wet blanket on everybody that enjoys Christmas and Santa. And then we see the grown-up version, and then we have The Rock, who is like obviously total believer, so much so that he's like burned to the core that his Christmas spirit is leaving, and all these things. And it's almost like this weird X-Files vibe where you have the believer and the skeptic together on these things.
It's a fun dynamic, especially because you see like because some of Chris Evans' character, like Jack, will like sometimes he just kind of play with that Christmas spirit. Other times he's like holy shit, like this thing is in front of me. Like there's a giant snowman here, there's Krampus here, there's a Christmas witch here. Like it's kind of blowing his mind. And it's fun to have that perspective as an audience.
Especially,
to have someone new to the world with you, right?
Yeah, and this adds to the intangibles thing for me too, Hayden, is like usually when you have that dynamic, the muscle of the two is the skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's flipped here.
Yeah, which is cool. And
which is cool.
There's a couple other interesting things they do here. Like the Rock talks about at some point, like when they're in Krampus's dungeon, and he's like, "I can't believe you got us into this mess. Like we're gonna spend Christmas in lockup. Like no one's getting presents. Like nice job, asshole."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I just can't believe it. I just can't see it anymore. I just can't see it. And he's talking about like losing his Christmas spirit, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know what he means until at the very end you get like a really cute but like also hilarious just visual of like The Rock sees Chris Evans and his son, but he's
it's
now
the end of Return of the Jedi
talking, but he sees him as a little boy.
Yeah, where
that's the very opening scene of the movie. Is you see Jack as a little boy, and he uncovers, he finds the closet full of all of the presents.
Yep.
And gathers cuts like we're being lied to. Like this is the conspiracy goes deeper than we've ever known.
Yeah, I know. But it's the end of Return of the Jedi because Anakin is now reverted to Hayden Christensen from the good old days, and it's we're all together, him and Obi-Wan and Yoda, and we're all waving to Luke and all that, and The Rock sees it, and it's I feel like part of this was The Rock being pissed that he has yet to be in an MCU film, and he's like, "Fine, I'll make my own," and here we are.
Which it's interesting to make a Christmas movie out of vengeance and spite.
Yeah, because I just feel like that has to eat at him a little bit. That he's like the one person. Even Harrison Ford's in a freaking MCU movie now coming in February. I know. Like, it's got to eat at him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I there is definitely some MCU in here, big time.
Absolutely, and I think getting Chris Evans is a big part of that. Like it's overt, right? They want you to think of that kind of tone and energy.
Did you ever stop and say we're watching the ultimate team up between Black Adam and Captain America?
I honestly, dude, Black Adam is such a like non sequitur in my life. I forgot it exists. My only connection to the DCU really is I'll try and find an image of this for you to put up in assets right now as I'm talking about it, but there was a billboard in my neighborhood for a couple months that was Shazam, like a bunch of like the supporting characters. Mm-hmm. And it was like, find your Shazamly, learn about adopting a teen today. And I was just like, what the fuck? That's like, that billboard for whatever adoption agency or government bureau that was is like my touchstone to the DCU.
I don't know what else to say about this. It's just bizarre. Like I know we're hammering on it, but I also feel like everybody should watch it. Like
that's the thing, right?
Yeah, if you like Christmas movies, you should watch this movie.
Yeah, it's like it's not good, but it's like you gotta. It's almost essential viewing at this point. It's incredible, and it's nice because it's like. It's honest to God really rare that we get like a new Christmas movie that's not just like a Hallmark or a Netflix, right? And I feel like we've gotten two bangers in back-to-back years in very different ways. Like the Hallmark, or the Holdovers rather, I think is like instant holiday classic that kind of throws back to like, 60s, 70s Christmas movies. Yep. And even some of the like the 40s stuff, right? And then you've got this, which is just like an action blockbuster that is so dumb that it is just turn your brain off and have a blast.
I'm going to say this, and it's probably the only time I'm going to say this for a 4.5 movie.
Okay.
Y'all need to go see this in the movie theater.
You really think so?
And here's why. Not because the big screen is going to like amplify the experience. I don't necessarily think it will.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want movies like this to stop being made. I don't. I really think there's a place for these because they're fun.
They are.
And
yeah.
like, yeah, there are so many movies I loved as a kid that were just stupid. And like if I watched it now, I would hate it, you know? And but still, like those movies have audiences. And I think if you went, I think you'd be like us saying more of you than not would be like us saying that was really dumb, but I'm glad I went. And you know, yeah, okay, matinee it. Don't go full price. Don't give them like $15-$20.
Right.
Go for like 10 or whatever. And yeah, I mean it's a fun time. You're able to laugh at it. Because really you're right, Hayden. All it gets put out now is like the Hallmarkish ones, like best Christmas pageant ever. And horror Christmas movies now.
Yeah.
So this is a rare one. And look, like in terms of action, I think Violent Night is objectively better than this movie in almost every way. But this movie like aspires for more and it tries to go on a much bigger scale than Violent Night.
For sure.
And you gotta like give it a little bit of credit for that. And it's all Dwayne. Like Dwayne just thinks, you know, he's whatever. But I don't know what else to say. Just go see it. And you know, and if you want to wait till streaming, do that. But it won't hit streaming till after Christmas. So if you want to get in the Christmas spirit and help Dwayne rediscover his,
get in there.
Go see this.
Hell yeah.
Because like December's all dramas and shit.
It really is. It's the Oscar bait season, right? They want recency bias on their side. I get
and
it.
You're gonna have this to go and just laugh your ass off at it.
Yeah, it's a great palate cleanser between the big blockbusters and the shit that's gonna make you sob. So check it out.
So all right. Thanks everybody. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that stuff. We are on Blue Sky now, so visit us there. At Stranger or not at Stranger. I don't know if it's an ad or not. I
don't know how it works.
Yeah,
we'll drop a link. We'll figure it out.
Strangely Awesome on Blue Sky. Check that out. And yeah, thanks for watching. Everybody go see Red One. What's our next one, Hayden? We'll be back this week with Gladiator 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah, big one. So it'll be fun.
Movie I'm probably not gonna laugh at because it'll be like
super serious.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody.
Take care.